Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and we already know it is primary election day here in California. California has more than 22 million registered voters, along with people in 14 other states who are also casting their ballots today. So as long as you are in line to vote by 8 p.m., you do have a chance to vote. And at this hour, we are starting to get results from the East Coast as people vote for the presidential nominee. What you're about to see are the races now being called by ABC News. But I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Brandon Rittiman. He's here to break them all down. Brandon, you've been covering politics for a long time, over 20 years. We've seen more Super Tuesdays than this. Not really anything ordinary happening here, right?
Yeah, the excitement level, not so
much.
Yeah, normally this would be a night where you'd have a horse race among the party that does not have possession of the White House. You'd have candidate A winning this state, candidate B winning that state. This year, it's really more like we've got two incumbents. We've got President Joe Biden walking away with state after state tonight, as has been the case throughout the cycle so far. And then we've got, of course, on the Republican side, former President Donald Trump, who, for all intents and purposes, is running as an incumbent-ish on the Republican side and really hasn't had a serious challenger other than that little victory that Nikki Haley notched in Washington, D.C. There is no reason to think that California is going to be any different tonight when it comes to that national race. We do have a Senate race that's going to be worth watching. The question there is, in the jungle primary, do we somehow come out with two Democratic candidates, or is it Adam Schiff, the leading candidate, versus a Republican, in which case he's a pretty safe lock to take over Dianne Feinstein's seat. So those are the candidate races we're watching.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know you already know we'll continue to track this, but another big thing on voters' minds is election security. A lot of election offices are letting people watch the ballot counting process. And that's exactly where we'll find ABC 10's Andy Judson tonight. Andy, you're in Sacramento County. Do we know how many ballots have been counted so far?
Alex, about 19% of ballots have voter turnout so far. We're not exactly sure on how many have been counted, but the process has started, and we are right here in the ballot sorting room where you can take a look. Take a look. So this room is where the ballots come. All signatures for these ballots that you're seeing have been verified. So this is the step where they go into this big, massive machine. Elections workers here have a nickname for it. They call it Bluey at the elections office, and it sorts them by precinct. You can see my photojournalist Tyler is showing you the precinct where each of your ballots goes depending on where you're registered. And from here, they'll go to the extraction room next, where the ballot actually comes out of that pink slip, where it then makes its way to become officially counted. Now, it is about, 6:30 now, so you have until 8 p.m. tonight to get your ballot in. Even if you're not registered, you can come down to the Sacramento County Elections Office, and as long as you're in line by 8 p.m., you can still vote, and this is where your ballot will end up. So we're gonna be here all night. We actually talked with some elections workers earlier, and they said they've been here since around 5 to 7 in the morning, and they're gonna stay here till the early morning hours, around 1 or 2 a.m. So it's gonna be a long night ahead, and we're gonna be here to keep you updated. So we'll be here, and I'll send it back to you now.
A long night. Thank you to our election workers. All right, tonight voters in Sacramento will be deciding who the city's next mayor is. There are currently 6 candidates in the running. Our Becca Habegger has been following this race for months and joins us live outside Sacramento City Hall. Becca.
Alex, I just spoke with Sacramento's current mayor, Darrell Steinberg, to see what he's looking for in tonight's races. He echoed what other political analysts I've talked to said, which is that, this could be anyone's race among the 4 frontrunners. We will see who those top 2 vote getters are going to be, who will go on to the November ballot. Now, Sacramentans have 6 names on their ballot. They are U.S. Marine Corps Captain and personal trainer Jose Antonio Avina II, Asset Protection Manager Julius Engel, and 4 others considered the frontrunners. They are public health professional Dr. Flo Kofer, former Sacramento City Council member Steve Hansen, current Assembly member Kevin McCarty, and former State Senator Dr. Richard Pan. Now, Mayor Steinberg says the future of the city does not rest in the next mayor's hands alone.
I think it'll be really interesting to look at the city council races, because there are some contested ones. Obviously, District 4 is highly contested. And under our system of government, A mayor is only one vote among 9, and so the result of those races may also determine the direction of the full city council, and whoever the mayor is, what he or she can accomplish, whether or not he or she is surrounded by allies or surrounded by people who may have a different ideology or a different point of view.
And we have team coverage on Sacramento's mayoral race. ABC 10's Luke Cleary and I will be at various watch parties as the candidates check out the results as those roll in. Now, keep in mind, with 4 front runners and predicted lower than average voter turnout, it's possible that we don't even know the top 2 vote getters by the end of the night. This race could be so close that it comes down to those mail-in ballots dropped in the blue USPS mailboxes today and yesterday. As those come in coming days and the county counts those, we might get a better picture of whose names will be on the November ballot. But we could have a decisive race tonight. We will see, and we'll keep you updated.
All right, Becca, thank you so much. Now, we are also following another big race out in San Joaquin County where more than 134,000 voters will be deciding who should be the next mayor of Stockton. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras is in Stockton tonight talking with voters at a polling location out there. Gabriel, how are we looking out there?
Well, that's right, Alex. Things are starting to wind down here at Victory Elementary School near downtown Stockton, but it has been pretty busy here throughout the day. Voters we talked with came out for multiple reasons, but many of them here voted for Stockton mayor. 6 candidates are running to represent the state's 11th largest city as mayor. In order to win outright, a candidate has to get 50% of the vote plus 1. If not, the race will be headed to a runoff with the top 2 candidates going to the November general election. That result is the most likely one tonight, but voters I talked with said it's still important to make their voices heard.
Friend didn't vote because it's just a primary. She figures that doesn't count. But there are some votes on the primary that are final, and so it does count.
And polling places close here at 8 p.m., so you've only got a limited time to come out, but fortunately there aren't too many long lines here, Alex.
All right, Gabriel, thank you so much. Still ahead onto the point. Our primary election coverage continues. We sit down with an expert about the role immigration is playing in this year's election.
I'm still tracking areas of showers mainly along the California-Oregon border, but this is going to slide our way into our Wednesday.
Welcome back. Man, take a look at this video sent in from Jim Schwilling up in Blairsden in Plumas County. He told us the homeowners returned home after being gone for just 4 days because of the blizzard and came home to this. Look at this, 4 feet of snow completely blocking the entrance. Thankfully, they had a friend who had a snowplow to help them out.
That's actually Jim's house.
Oh my
It's not his friend's house. That's his house. So yeah.
Okay, so for others, snow not necessarily clearing out too much.
I know. And unfortunately for some areas, still dealing with some of that snow for tonight and into tomorrow. Here's a look across the region. So much better. And here's what I love about this. We can actually see the pavement on Donner Summit and Highway 50 at Myers. It's been moving pretty smoothly at Applegate and Camino throughout the course of the storm, although traffic was stopped for a time. But tonight, things are much better up in the high country. Still tracking a few of those showers, though, as I mentioned, up near Quincy and Plumas County. Still some areas of showers there, as well as in Chico. And that winter weather advisory continuing through 4 a.m. on Wednesday. The weather system has largely been to the north of us, but here's that big plume of moisture just off the coast. And that's what's going to feed us with additional accumulation for Wednesday into Thursday. Temperatures right now in the 50s to near 60 for the valley, 40s and 50s for the foothills, and 30s for the Sierra. For the rest of this election night, we're generally going to see dry conditions for the valley. Temperatures falling into the 40s by early tomorrow. We'll see roughly about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain come in by Thursday. And as far as the snowfall, only about an inch or so heading into our Wednesday and Thursday forecast. So not a ton of accumulation. It's just one that you go, oh no, here we go again. It's not blue skies quite yet. Tonight we have dry conditions, and then here comes that band of rain trying to press its way inland for tomorrow. Bit of a break early Thursday, another pulse of snow coming in by Thursday afternoon. After that, it is out of here and we are back to some dry weather. Here's a look at our regional forecast for the next 5 days. For the mountains, a chance of snow Wednesday and Thursday. Dry Friday, another chance of some showers coming in on Saturday. That is true as well for the foothills. And then for the coast, if you're traveling, just be aware. Generally dry conditions with a slight chance for showers periodically in the outlook. And it is time to spring forward, losing that hour of sleep. on Saturday night into early Sunday, but we get that later sunset. A slight chance for showers early next week, but then we get highs in the mid-70s.
All right, Monica with some good news there. All right, next on To The Point, continuing our coverage of the primary election, the latest on District 2 and the U.S. Senate race. Plus, we talked to an expert about the immigration impact on the election. Welcome back. It is Election Day here in California, and we are covering races in the state and in Sacramento. So the search for Sacramento City Council in District 2 is on tonight with 9 candidates in the running for that exact position. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen has been going to some of their watch parties tonight and is live in Sacramento with how some of those candidates are feeling. Jeannie?
Alex, you know, right now we were standing outside of a restaurant off of El Camino for a watch party for Ramona Landeros. Now, she and her team are inside. They're great spirits, there's smiles, there's laughters, and they're feeling very positive going into today's election. Again, like you said, Landeros is one of 9 candidates vying for the District 2 seat, which used to be by Councilmember Sean Laloe. Now, tonight, Landeros and her team say they feel good going into the election tonight, and Landeros believes that this district needs somebody who is dedicated and loyal to the community.
Win will be defined by inspiring another generation of students, of youth, of community who never would have been involved in the elections.
Now, we also have stopped by Kim Davies' watch party tonight, and as you can see by this video, she and her team are all smiles with Davie, also feeling confident going into tonight. Now, she told us she is committed to being embedded in the community and continues to foster those relationships if she gets the vote. And as I said, again, there are 9 people going after this position in this race right now. And of course, we will keep you updated on those results as they come in tonight on our website and online. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. Another race on the ballot is for the U.S. Senate. It's the seat to replace late Senator Dianne Feinstein. And right now, there are 4 major candidates in the lead for the race. Our Alicia Machado has been covering this for us and joins us with the latest tonight. Alicia.
Yeah, well, Alex, for this race, the 2 candidates with the most votes, regardless of party, will move on to the general election in November. And there is, as you said, a packed lineup vying for this spot left vacant after the death of Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein. The leading candidates include U.S. Representatives Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, and Barbara Lee, all Democrats. Republican Steve Garvey, also a frontrunner here. Earlier this morning on ABC 10, political analyst Steve Swat explained the dynamic between the candidates.
Schiff wants to see Garvey in the fall election so that he'll have an easier time, because also he will have a tougher time against another progressive Democrat.
And remember, LaFonza Butler, the woman chosen by Governor Gavin Newsom to fill the vacancy, is not seeking a full term. This is a race we will continue to keep an eye on. Alex?
All right, thank you, Alicia. And one of our top issues for voters this year, we know, is immigration. California is home to the busiest land border crossing in the Western Hemisphere. And just last week, Governor Gavin Newsom visited the portions of California, the Mexico border, visited the California-Mexico border, and they have seen an increase in migrant arrivals just in the recent months. So during his visit, he was briefed by the California National Guard, the U.S. Border Patrol officials, and later met with community leaders at a shelter supporting migrant families out in San Diego. But voters across the state and the country, they have a lot of questions about border security and the strain immigration has on social services. So tonight we are sitting down with Sacramento State professor Dr. Cristina Flores Victor to get a better understanding of the role immigration is playing in this year's election. Cristina, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Of course, first question, why is immigration such a big issue for voters, not just in California, but really across the nation?
It's a great question. Immigration as a policy issue does tend to increase in salience around elections, and then it does kind of drop off in non-election years, but candidates talk about it more, the press covers it more, voters notice it more, and so it does tend to be kind of very cyclical around elections where it kind of comes back into importance. But interestingly enough, Latinos actually don't rate it. They rate it 6th in terms of importance. So it's lower for them than the general population, but very important in places like Iowa that are even really far from the border.
Right, right. Well, and actually I wanted to ask you, President Biden, former President Donald Trump, I mean, they have been very vocal about what they want to see in terms of border security. How could the Latino vote be swayed by what's being said?
Well, Latinos, they do care about immigration issue, but I don't know that they love the frame of talking about immigration as a policy issue only in terms of border security. So they want to see comprehensive immigration reform. So when immigration policy is kind of reduced down to only being about border security, it tends to really turn off, in general, the larger Latino electorate. And actually right now, the Latino electorate in polling has shown that they rate both Biden and Trump very low in terms of their approval in terms of handling this particular issue.
And I want to talk about the immigration system because a lot of politicians, a lot of voters, they say, yes, border security, very important. But really, when it comes down to the national immigration system, they feel like it's outdated. So what do you think voters really want to see address this election in terms of, our national immigration system?
I think that there's a massive backlog of just people trying to do their paperwork and have their interviews and kind of go through the system and adjust their status. So I think the backlog, it's very underfunded. Also, there's a high cost to a lot of these, DACA renewals, visa renewals. So I think people think the costs are very high. It's very resource intensive. Many people, it's complicated and confusing. So I think people feel like they need a lawyer to help them, which is another cost. So I think comprehensive immigration reform, what people want to see is maybe an agency that runs smoothly and is efficient and can get people through in a timely manner.
Yeah. And you also work with the Sacramento State's Project for an Informed Electorate. Now, we know there are a lot of concerns about misinformation, disinformation for voters. I mean, what should they really be on the lookout for?
Unattributed news stories, quick kind of viral stories that are not attributed. So they need to be looking for reputable news sources, right, in their community, national or local, verified kind of journalists doing stories in newspapers, local trusted community groups, right, maybe from their own community putting out stories. But I'd say especially the social media.
That's what I was going to say. It's so hard with social media. You have one person that might post this or they see one article, just don't take it for face value is what you're saying.
Do a little bit of extra research and kind of go to the source.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I have one more quick question before we go. I don't know if you can do a little bit of a fact check here. A lot of people are saying that Biden already has the authority to stop the illegal border crossings. Does he have the authority to stop border crossings as the president?
Well, I mean, the Border Patrol, they have a lot of employees, they have a lot of resources, so apprehensions are up, but that is kind of a sign that the Border Patrol is doing what it's supposed to be doing already. I think a lot of this discourse is around people who are asylum seekers and whether or not they should be allowed to kind of come in and seek asylum or have to wait on the other side. That's part of like his recent rule change about having people wait on the other side of the border before kind of is seeking asylum here. And it seems like so far that he has had the authority to kind of keep people out while they're a part of this process.
All right, Christina, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we'll be right back after this break. All right, welcome back. Right now, voters are casting their ballots as polls are getting ready to close. In about an hour, a lot of election offices are letting people watch the ballot counting process. And that's exactly where ABC 10's Andy Judson is tonight. Andy, you're out in Sacramento County. Do we know exactly how many ballots have been counted so far tonight?
Hey, Alex, we don't know that exact number quite yet, but they have brought a lot of ballots in from those drop boxes around the county, and you're actually getting a live look behind me. This is exactly where they come. This is the first step. They come to the elections office, whether you voted in person by mail or that drop box, they come to this building, but all these ballots you're seeing specifically came from drop boxes. So these fine folks here are sorting them out, and after this step, they head over to that sorting machine that we actually just came from at the top of the show. From there, they're sorted into precinct, and then they go to the next step where they actually get extradited. They get taken out of this pink slip where your vote is counted. So it's a lengthy process here. All of these folks here have been here since around 7 in the morning, and they'll remain here throughout the evening to make sure your vote is counted. And for those who haven't voted yet, if you still want to, you can. You have till 8 p.m. tonight. Alex?
All right, Andy, thank you so much. And make sure you stay with ABC 10 for your election results. They're starting to come in. We will be live streaming on the ABC 10 Plus app, and we'll be speaking with our political experts and reporters at local election parties. Don't forget, you can always download the ABC 10 Plus app in your device's app store. Now, there are several vote centers that are open right now across our area. As a reminder, you can vote as long as you're in line by 8 p.m. You will have that chance to vote. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.